He said the age of heroes would never come again.
It has to.
With the death of Superman, the world is left in a much less hopeful state. Taking advantage of the uncertainty and fear, an ancient being named Steppenwolf returns to Earth, seeking to decimate it. In response, Diana Prince and Bruce Wayne put together a team of superpowered beings to stop him. The good. The main characters of this movie were enjoyable, and I think most of the basic elements of each of those heroes was captured pretty well in this movie. Previous movies have introduced Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman already. And now in this movie we get introduced to the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. It might not be ideal for some people, but that is the hand we've been dealt, and under the circumstances, I think the filmmakers did a solid job of introducing and then utilizing these characters in the story. I also enjoy the action elements of this movie. Marvel and DC both have different and effective ways of portraying action. In the case of DC, I think they do a really good job showing the intensity of each hit, while also keeping the energy high. There's a decent amount of character banter and interactions in this movie that do a good job at lightening the tone compared to, say, Batman v Superman, and there are some legitimately laugh-out-loud moments in this movie. And I think it's good that DC can have that in their movie without completely sacrificing the grimmer tone that a lot of people actually enjoy about this particular brand of film. One major criticism of Batman v Superman was that a lot of universe building was done in that one movie when the main focus should have been mostly on the two main characters. It could be argued that because you're introducing three major characters in this one movie, that this movie kind of makes that same mistake, and throughout the movie, we do see a few things that we can probably expect from DC movies further down the line. But I don't think it feels quite the same as it did in Batman v Superman. I think it was done properly in this movie. Either it's tied to the main story, or it doesn't interrupt the flow of the main story. The iffy. A by-the-numbers destroy-the-world villain like Steppenwolf might seem like a very basic choice for this kind of movie, and yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't agree with that sentiment at least a little bit. Still, we are effectively shown his own strength and the scope of his plans that make him such a big threat. Barry Allen, the Flash, is a character that feels very awkward by nature, and he feels like he's out of place in all sorts of areas in his life, be it just what he does on a daily basis and being next to the Justice League. Most of the time, this makes Barry Allen a very enjoyable character to watch. In fact, he's probably the source of most of this film's levity. But this being his key character trait, he awkwardly quips at times that kind of cut the tension of the moment. Some might say that just ups the awkwardness and makes it even more funny, but I think some of these moments needed to stay tense and shouldn't have had an awkward quip to cut through it. I feel a little mixed about the effects that the death of Superman in Batman v Superman had when they carried over into Justice League. We're meant to believe that the source of all this hopelessness covering the world is that Superman is dead, and that Superman was seen as an invincible beacon of hope. For a lot of people in the world, that rings true, but at the same time, we can't forget that in the last movie he was in, Superman was also a figure of controversy. Showing that his absence has this particular effect on the world works well enough in this movie, but I feel like it could have worked better under different circumstances. A number of lines in this movie can be considered waxing poetic, and they often serve the purpose of thematically defining either a character or the movie as a whole. Usually the sentiment being expressed is fitting for the situation, but I feel the way they're delivered is just a little too cliche, a little too, this is very, very important. More humanity is needed behind that sentiment in order to have it conveyed to its full effectiveness. This movie has a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene, so I think you can safely expect that that will be the norm for DC Comics movies going forward. There is one major WTF plot moment in this movie that I won't discuss in detail, but I will just say it was very strange to behold. The bad. There are lines in this movie and situations that take place that sort of call back to some of the sentiment expressed in Batman v Superman. Now some might say this is the filmmakers basically not learning the lessons that they got from criticisms leveled at Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, but on the flip side you could also argue that given the production cycle of Justice League, that it was just too late to make any drastic changes to the core of what this film was. The verdict? With the DC Comics movie universe, I feel like they've been trying to play catch-up to Marvel for quite a while, and unfortunately the films that have been building up to it have suffered as a result of that. That being said, I like Justice League more than I liked Batman v Superman, not quite as much as I liked Wonder Woman. This movie had some notably imperfect moments and didn't achieve the same euphoric success that the first Avengers film did, but it was still quite fun and enjoyable to watch, and overall, I think it shows that there is some improvement on the horizon as far as the DC Comics films go. This is Detective Steve, and while I am happy that Cyborg is showing up in the movies, unfortunately that means he probably won't be involved with the Teen Titans TV show that's being produced. Dang it.